All right, what is up, guys? My name is Coriola, and welcome to episode number 6 of my Out of the Park Baseball 21 franchise here with the Milwaukee Brewers. We are here at the 2021 trading deadline, and as you can see, we are right kind of in the playoff mix. We've been pretty good since the All-Star break, thanks to the Colorado Rockies, as we have won 6 straight games with them in the last 2 weeks. We are 6.5 out of the division, which isn't insurmountable, but kind of looks like St. Louis has got a pretty solid lead on the division once again, as Avi Garcia is absolutely raking for them. Of course he is. But as you can see, we are only half a game out of a wild card spot, just behind our division rival Cincinnati. We're clearly not going to make the first wild card spot, as San Diego is having an incredible season, and too bad they're in the same division as the Dodgers. But as you can see, we are right in the playoff mix. But we have been hit with injuries again. Devin Williams will miss the rest of the season, which is a shame because he was pitching extremely well. The walks are still high, but he's managed to keep his ERA down even with a super high BABIP. So, we were really impressed by what he's done this season. He's from Missouri. I actually don't know where Florissant is. But we called up Alec Bettinger to replace him. He actually was having a really nice season in AAA, as you can see. So we called him up over Fireisen. I'm never gonna get it right. Because we are so beat up. I don't want to make a big move. I don't want to make it like a blockbuster trade. Spend a ton of prospects for a guy like Andrelton Simmons, who is raking for Cincinnati. I don't know why they'd trade him. Or like a top reliever, like a Taylor Rogers, who I believe is a free agent. No, he's got looks like 1 more year of arbitration. So we're gonna make 1, maybe 2 low-key moves this offseason. First one, I've already planned this trade out. If I can figure out where to do it. There we go. With the Texas Rangers. Now, the Rangers are in last place, and so we are going to be acquiring Marwin Gonzalez. He's not having a great season hitting, but as you can see, 81 OPS plus compared to Ryan Healy's 23. We just can't have him in the lineup anymore. Clearly, the end of last season was a fluke, and he's not good. So we are going to acquire Gonzalez. He's only making $1 million. He'll be a free agent after the season. So in the trade, we are going to give up Ryan Aguilar. He's a minor league outfielder, and I'm actually curious if they will take Healy. So yeah, they will just take him on. I don't see any reason keeping him. I don't think anyone else would want to trade for him. I don't think we could get an asset for him. So we'll just throw him in. Aguilar is just a 30 potential outfielder. So yeah, we are going to acquire Marwin Gonzalez. He will be our new first baseman. And now I'd like to acquire 1 more reliever, except I definitely did not prepare. Bettinger's actually starting over Hauser, which is interesting. 424 BABIP. Jesus, that's insane. Yeah, I'm going to definitely should have done this before, but I'm gonna look for a reliever trade. Someone to replace Norwood, who's walking 7 guys per 9 innings. Maybe, possibly someone. See, I thought Bettinger would be in the bullpen and not starting, but it looks like he's gonna be our 5th starter. You know what? I'm content with where our bullpen's at this point. I don't want to trade. I'm actually gonna look for maybe a younger guy who has a couple years of team control, who would be pretty cheap to acquire. But if there's not someone like that, I'm probably just going to keep the team the way it is. All right, I am back, and as you can see from the fact that it is September 1st, we did not end up making a trade for a reliever. And maybe I should have, because the team kind of fell apart in August. Started with this 3-game series against Cincinnati for a playoff spot. We lost the series, won a series, split a series with Arizona, and then went to Cincinnati and got swept. That put us 4.5 games back of a playoff spot, and since then we've been pretty much on the outside looking in. However, it is roster expansion day. You only get 2 additional players now, but I don't know if that's accurate, because in the offseason it still says you only have 28, and I've been able to have more guys than that on the roster. But one player we're going to call up is Mario Feliciano. He has had a great season in AAA, and I just want to get him some Major League at-bats if this season is washed. See if he can be our catcher of the future. They're putting him 3rd string. I'd like him to play a little more than that, so I'm going to mess around with that. Oh, it's because Freitas is locked in. That's why. I just put no game strategy on him. Yeah, so we'll have a nice little catcher rotation with Nunez and Feliciano. Nunez has not hit well at all this season. 33 OPS plus. It's our hitting coach is going to get fired, I think. I think Andy Haynes has to go, even though I like having younger coaches. And he did a good job last season. It's clear that Chris Hook's a good coach because our pitching staff has turned it around. But yeah, Andy Haynes is going to probably get the can. Is that an actual phrase, or did I make that up? We're also going to call up Fireisen for pitching depth. And then I'm just curious, will it let me? Yeah, it won't let me. Okay, so it is 28 now. I must have just missed that rule change. We will be getting Woodruff back. I might consider shutting him down for the season. Just not have him pitch at all. And then come back next year. Although I don't know how to do that in OOTP, so I probably will have to figure that out. But yeah, that's the plan for now, unless we go on some crazy run here. Probably going to come back at the end of the season, and it'll be with us missing the playoffs. St. Louis has been on fire lately. Damn. All right, be right back. All right, so I lied. It is literally just one day. We won, which is nice, but Alec Bettinger's out for the year with a torn labrum, literally the day I started simulating. So instead of calling up another pitcher, because there isn't really anybody in the minor leagues who I really want in the majors at this point, Supak would have been nice, but he's out for the season. So instead we are calling up Elihuris Montero. We acquired him. That was the Eric Sogard trade with St. Louis last offseason. So him and Feliciano are 2 guys who I did not want to do that. 2 guys who we've been watching, as prospects, and we'll see what they can do here in September. Looks like he's not going to get regular playing time, but maybe if I took the game strategy away, or just put him at shortstop instead, because I don't want Luis Urias. God, he's been terrible. I'll probably trade him in the offseason when someone's hoping, he can be a bounce back candidate, but yikes. All right, well, this will put Urseg in the starting lineup, who's actually been raking, so I'm fine with that. All right, this time I'm gone for real. All right, we are here at the end of the season. We finished 83-79, so a definite improvement over last year. As you can see, we did not make the playoffs. We missed by 4.5 games. I don't think we ever got closer than 3.5. We had a nice little winning streak here in Cincinnati and Miami, but then lost 3 out of 4 to St. Louis, and I think by the Pittsburgh series, our Cincinnati's magic number was down to 1. So we didn't really ever get close enough to justify me hopping in. So let's take a look at our team, see how they did this season. Matthew Boyd, I think regressed a bit from what he was at in the midseason, but still a really solid year from him, kind of exactly what we wanted. Not exactly. I think we wanted a little better than 1.7 wins. 4.75 ERA is a little high. Probably because strikeout to walk ratio isn't great. Only 8 strikeouts per 9. It was a drop off. Well, I guess not a drop off from last year, but the walks went up, home runs went up, and so he regressed a bit from last season, but still a solid year from, I guess he was our 3rd starter with everyone out. Corbin Burns progressed really nicely this year. He actually struck out fewer guys, but he got the walks together, which was huge for him. 3.35 ERA, 3.5 wins above replacement. Fantastic season for our young starter. Freddie Peralta also progressed massively this season. And he got a little more lucky with the BABIP, about 40 points lower, but he improved his strikeouts by almost over a strikeout per 9, brought the walks down a bit, and finished with almost 4 wins above replacement. That's exactly the type of progression we needed from him. Then we went over Boyd. Brent, I did not try to change it. Brent Suter, this is more what we expected from Boyd, although their wars are the same. With 1.7, he only pitched 153 innings, but was solid in those innings. 4.18 ERA. We'll definitely take that from Suter, who I thought about looking to trade him at the offseason because he is 32 and might start regressing soon, or trade him at the midseason, but I decided to hang on for now. Drew Rasmussen, he is a pitching prospect in real life for the Brewers, obviously. He was called up when Robbie Ray went down, and he pitched really, really well. 2.44 ERA. He did get really lucky with the BABIP, but that strikeout to walk ratio is fantastic, 13-3. So that's over 4 strikeouts per every walk. So we'll definitely take that. It looks like his long-term spot is going to be in our bullpen when we get Woodruff and Ray back. So I think the rotation's Peralta, Burns, Woodruff, Ray, and then Boyd and Suter kind of competing for the 5th spot. And then Rasmussen would go into the bullpen. Speaking of the bullpen, Josh Hader pitched incredibly, even better than last season, which I did not think was possible. 1.17 ERA. I mean, this guy's a stud, and there's no other way to put it. He even got way less lucky on the BABIP this season and improved massively. So, huge year for Hader. Corey Knebel regressed hard. Or I wouldn't say regress. I think he just had a down season, especially with that 3.52 BABIP, and the walks kind of came up a little bit higher than you'd hope. But I don't think he wants a ton of money, and he's a free agent, so I'd definitely be comfortable bringing him back at that price for what I know he can do in a good year. Joe Jimenez, who we traded for alongside with Matthew Boyd, kind of struggled this season. Only 85 ERA plus. And that looks it's because his home runs came up by a lot, from 0.7 to 1.6. And his walks also came up and his strikeouts went down. He is young and I like his ratings, so I am not concerned at this point. But we'll definitely be looking for him to have a bounce back year next year. Kind of same thing with Adrian Hauser. For him, it looks like it's mostly in the BABIP. He had good strikeout, walk, and home run numbers, so I have no reason to think he can't improve and have another bounce back year next year, like we're hoping for from Jimenez. Feyereisen struggled when he got called up in limited time. Norwood struggled, 8 walks per 9. That is, really should have traded for a reliever. Sergio Barragan, who we signed in the offseason out of Mexico, he was fantastic. 2.1 wins above replacement, great strikeout, solid walk, and good home run numbers from him. He pitched 105 innings, so that's a lot of work for a guy who I think is he listed as a lefty specialist? Oh, he's long relief. Okay, that makes more sense. But yeah, he was fantastic. Hopefully he has a higher leverage role next season. Alex Claudio is our last reliever. He is a free agent. I don't think we're going to bring him back because he had a good season, but his archetype as a left-handed only reliever is kind of out the window now with the 3-batter minimum. How many innings did he pitch before we get to the offseason? He pitched 61 innings, which was tied with Hader for least in the bullpen of guys who were here pretty much the whole season. So yeah, I think Berrigan and Hader will be our lefties out of the bullpen next season, and we'll move on from Claudio. Offensively, kind of go through the prospects quickly. Feliciano hit pretty well, 982 OPS, but only had 17 plate appearances, so not a lot to learn there. Montero struggled, but again, only 19 plate appearances, so can't take a lot from that. I'd consider making Montero my starting third baseman next season, and I think Feliciano will be on the roster, but I still want Fridas to be my starting catcher, who did turn it around somewhat towards the end of the season. 70 OPS plus is not good, but it's better than where he was at halfway through the year. Only caught 28% of guys stealing. You'd like that to be a little bit higher, especially from a guy who's not giving you much from the bat. And I'm pretty sure Omar Narvaez had a great season, so not a great look for me. Marwin Gonzalez had a much better season when he was acquired by us. I don't know if we're going to bring him back, but I'd definitely be interested in. I think he and Brock Holt are both free agents. They are, and they're both similar players in that they can play a lot, decent hitting. You see Holt, 744 OPS, so I think we'll bring one of them back, and it's just to be determined which one it'll be. Keston Hira really turned it around towards the end of the season. He finished with a 810 OPS, which is, we can expect better from him next season, but compared to where he's at the beginning of the season, definitely turned it around. We just want to see him put a full 162 games together. I still think he will be one of the cornerstones of this franchise. Luis Urseg, once he got consistent playing time, did not hit as well. I don't think he's going to be a big future piece, but he might be like our bench guy again next season. Orlando Arcia did regress towards the end of the season. I think he was hitting almost 300 at midseason, and obviously now down to 280. Did finish with an 825 OPS, 36 home runs, 4.3 wins above replacement. Fantastic season for him. He's obviously going to be a starter for us next season, although he only has one more year before he hits free agency. I'm going to trade Luis Urias. I'm just disappointed in him. Ryan Braun, I don't think we're going to pick up his team option. As our DH, he did not hit well, only 685 OPS. We can get out of it for just $800K, and I think we're definitely going to do that. Christian Yelich, once again, Christian Yelich, our superstar, again, showing signs of regression, which is definitely disconcerting as he played a full season this year. Almost 700 plate appearances, and he had his lowest WAR since 2017, which was his last year in Miami. So this is his worst season as a Brewer, but we'll obviously take 4.8, especially for the fact that he's only making $14 million. But when this big contract extension that he signed in real life kicks in, we're definitely going to need him to turn back into 2000. We don't even need him to be like 2019 Yelich, where he was well on his way to be MVP. But like 2018 with a full, or 2020 with a full season is kind of what we're looking for. A little bit better contact numbers. Home runs did go up from last year, which is a good sign. But I think the on base kind of back around 400 is what we would want from him going forward. Lorenzo Cain, he has one more year left on his contract, and it's not an option. So he'll be back next season, but he's definitely hit that wall after a bounce back year last year. Only 80 OPS plus, 677 OPS, 242 average. All the signs of regression are there, which is really sad. because like I said, he's one of my favorite Royals of all time. But I don't think we'll be able to move on from him with that contract unless we gave up a player like an asset along with him. Danny Sanchez did improve as the season went along. 734 OPS is not terrible, especially considering I think he was in the 600s at the midseason. But and I should say 22 home runs in just 400 at bats is definitely promising. We'd like him to be better as far as on base goes next season, especially for the money we're giving him. But he'll be a starter next year. He'll be right back with us. And then Justin Williams, who we traded for last season, did not do very well. Only 710 OPS, which is not terrible, and he's a decent defender, so he'll definitely be back. He's making the minimum. He's only 26, but we definitely like to see more out of him. And then let's take a quick look at our prospects before we simulate the offseason. So Blaze Jordan is up to 65 potential. He hit pretty well in rookie ball this season. So he'll be probably in A ball starting next season, and it's definitely good to see progression from him. He hit 14 home runs, 931 OPS, definitely promising out of Blaze Jordan. Bryce Terang, he kind of struggled in Double-A this season after mashing both regular A and high A last year. I think he'll start in Double-A again, but he did finish with 3 WAR. He's a good defender, so let's hope he takes another step forward next season so he can soon be with the Major League club. Feliciano, we went over him already. Which guy was our top draft pick? I've already forgot, which was fantastic. It wasn't Garcia. He has been in the Brewers system already. I think he's played really well. It was a shortstop. It was Jordan Lawler. There we go. I remembered. He struggled in rookie ball, so not a great season from him. And then from our first round pick last year, Casey Martin, he hit pretty well in Rocky Mountain. So he'll be moving on to A ball with Blaze Jordan next season. And anyone else I want to go over? Micah Bello has been progressing really nicely. He'll probably start the season in Double-A, but he'll be looking at Triple-A soon and be probably called up to the or he'll have a chance to be called up to the majors by the end of the season. And then Tristan Lutz, he will repeat Triple-A. He had a good OPS, but didn't progress much ratings-wise, so we're still looking for him to take that step forward where I think his ratings are Major League ready. One thing I did change in the settings that I did not mention, I got this suggestion from Reddit, and we are going to increase the dev speed just to make guys a little bit younger when they finally reach the majors. And we also increase the talent change randomness, just add a little more unpredictability to the game, which is obviously reflected in real life. But that'll do it for this season. We are now going to simulate the playoffs. I believe the Dodgers won the World Series last year. And so as we simulate, Dodgers, Yankees are back in the league championship series. And can I send him to rehab? No, I didn't think I could. All right, we'll just use an option on Montero then. Well, it's still not. Okay, so Feliciano. It's because Woodruff he was put on rehab, which is basically just shutting him down when he came off the DL. So that's why the roster was more than full. All right, let's take a look at the playoffs. Did they finish the division series? Not yet. Atlanta, there we go. So New York, Los Angeles, Atlanta, and then Seattle. The Mariners, who won 93 games this season behind Evan White, Braden Bishop. That's different than Braylon Bishop. Okay. And Nick Marjavicius, who was fantastic for them. yet very young player. Had a really good bullpen between. Jesus Christ. I'm glad I almost chose the Mariners my franchise team, and I just would not be able to pronounce these names. So I think I made the right choice. All right, but they will be taking on the Yankees. Meanwhile, in the National League side, it's Dodgers and Braves. And Devin Williams is eligible to come back, which means I got to send someone down, which is really obnoxious, but there we go. All right, Yankees up 2-0, Atlanta up 2-1 now. Both teams are a game away from clinching. The Yankees have won the American League for the second straight season. The Dodgers have evened it up, and they come back from 3-1 against Atlanta, and we will have a World Series rematch. I would hate to see that as a fan. Dodgers up 2-0, Yankees win. They even it up in Game 4. Dodgers 1 game away from back-to-back, but we will have a Game 7. So let's just play the game. I say play. We're not actually getting into it. Got to make sure my volume's off, because every time I go in the playoffs, I forget about it. But we'll just go inning by inning. Like doing that. I like doing this. In my Royals franchise, the Reds won on a walk-off grand slams in extra innings in Game 7. So, that's the type of thing. So, once again, I'm a royal dumbass and failed to realize that even when my computer sound is turned off, that does not mean that OBS does not still record the incredibly loud crowd noise when you launch a game. So, you're just going to get to watch this without sound, and maybe I'll learn my lesson next time. Can't promise anything. And that'll do it. The Los Angeles Dodgers have repeated and won back-to-back World Series. So that'll do it for this episode. Not a ton of action outside of that Game 7. But nevertheless, I hope you guys did enjoy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.